Her Excellency Inês De Almeida is the first female ambassador to Australia from Timor-Leste. From fleeing civil war to representing her nation, Inês is an incredible role model to the Timorese. Listen as the ambassador of Timor-Leste to Australia speaks of her journey towards this incredible achievement.
Well, first of all, thank you, Atlas, for giving this golden opportunity for me. My name is Inês Almeida. I was appointed as ambassador. My role as the ambassador is mainly to promote East Timor or Timor-Leste, and also to work and strengthen the relationship that we have built since World War II, right throughout our independence and until now. Well, I was born in Dili. I grew up until the age of 12. And then civil war broke out. There was a brief civil war between the two major political parties. It broke out and I managed to get out from Dili in a cargo ship. It just happened that I was one of the lucky few to be able to go to the port of Dili. And then in August, we came to Darwin. That was with my mom and a couple of other siblings as well. We arrived in Darwin on the 29th of August, 1975. So that was prior to the Indonesian invasion. And growing up as a childhood in Timor-Leste during that time was very simple life. We don't have toys, let alone dolls. You just have to play with whatever you have. And most of the time was just playing in the neighborhood. For example, playing with marbles. We'd end up, by the afternoon, your hands would be very dirty because you're just playing with marbles with the earth. So that what I can remember. And I was lucky because my sister purchased me a bicycle. I just really love bike riding. So that was the thing that my sister gave me. But she said I had to study and I had to show that I was studying hard in order to get that bicycle. So I did. But then, civil war broke out. So because we came to Australia not knowing English, we had to go back to primary school. In order to learn English. So I didn't finish my high school. I only ended up with year 10. And then because my mother was also struggling, she was a single mother, and I thought that I didn't want to put a burden on her. So I decided to go and look for a job. So I got a job as a part of the youth training program in the New South Wales Premier's Department. Apparently they did a review and I showed that I was a good worker. So they offered me a job whether I wanted to continue. So I did. And then I started to be involved in our Timorese cultural performance because that was the only way that we could show that the Timorese had different identity, different language, and we couldn't participate in the political forum much. So we used the cultural forum to advocate our rights for self-determination. After that, I was invited to participate in the United Nations Forum on Women, back then in Nairobi. So that was my first political involvement. And then I decided to continue. New South Wales government gave opportunity for people to continue their studies if they wanted to further develop their careers. That was back in 1998. But by 1999, because of what happened in East Timor, and we were preparing for referendum, in April 99, there was a massacre at the church in Likisa, and I was in the middle of a lecture. But because I was the focal point, the phone kept on ringing. It was a mobile phone, but I couldn't do the silent sound because it was those old phones. So the phone kept on ringing, and the lecturer was really upset because, people were ringing, what's happening? What are we going to do in terms of, there's, in the meantime, there's a massacre happening in Likisa. So I decided to defer my studies. For me, it's interesting because I went back in October 99. So immediately after, 90% of the country was destroyed. As soon as I got off Dili port, you could still smell the smoke of the burning of Dili. For me, it was just, it was the moment of my lifetime, returning to East Timor, but then not being able to even, you get off the port, but there was no cars, nothing. You just had to walk and find your way. So, and I ended up in an area, in a convent that was run by nuns. And then I met up with some friends and I stayed there. So, and then for someone who saw all the destruction and basically the place was bare, and then to see it right through from the beginning to where we are now, it has been an achievement. So for us, it's like climbing Mount Everest. Now we are halfway through the top. So we just have to now look after the country that we fought for and the people as well. And there's lots of challenges that we have ahead of us, but we also have hope that we have leaders, good leadership will guide us to our main aim, to have, but at least our country is free. Our people are free. What else can you ask for? In fact, tourism is an area, especially historical tourism. And this is my passion. If I can achieve just one package that one can say that the Timor tracking, I will be very, very happy. We have a long history between Australia and East Timor. It started from World War II. From World War II, and then you have our resistance as well as Interfat coming into Timor. And I think there's a golden opportunity for anyone to explore the historical tourism. First is we can do the tracking where the diggers were, and then combine that with hideouts of our fallen teal fighters. If we could do a map, it will be a wonderful opportunity for anyone to do the tracking in East Timor. Perikanili was marvelous. Like even during the resistance years, he used to go to Timor in spite of the Indonesian military presence there. And it's also because he has built that special bond between the Timorese and himself. So he felt the debt of honor that he needed to continue. And then he continued on after our independence as well. So if we can do that, and then and start to map out what, the diggers where they were, and then how we're going to pass on to generations, not only in East Timor, but also in Australia. I mean, every year we commemorate Anzac Day. The veterans of East Timor come here to march with the veterans of Australia, which is good already. But I think something's got to go beyond that. But for me, if anything, is our treasure, our relationship that we have over the years. Since World War II, I've learned a lot, specifically with Australian veterans. I've learned a lot with Perikanili. I had the privilege of being able to have personal contacts with him during our difficult times. We used to go to protest together. This, I think, we need to somehow preserve it for future generation to come, not only now, but for future, because this is the essence of our friendship.
In 2015, 3 brothers from the Missionaries of the Poor in Flores, Indonesia, were invited by the Bishop of Maliana to help with the needs of the people in Saburai. At the time, Brother Emmanuel stated he had never seen poverty to this extent in the region of Timor-Leste. The initial work of the brothers was treating lepers in Saburai with medicine from the World Health Organization, which was a success with leprosy now under control. The brothers are well established now in the community, and last year commenced the building of a monastery so they can live in the village and not have to commute those 12 kilometres from Maliana each day. The brothers are now working with the children in the village to address the areas of malnutrition, particularly protein deficiency. Protein is an important part of any child's diet, as it improves alertness, lifts energy levels, and improves their mental and physical growth into adulthood. The brothers currently feed about 100 children each fortnight. The meals are full of protein, including chickens and eggs purchased locally to support the local economy. Atlas is committed to the ongoing support of the protein supplement feeding program.
Your continued support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to contribute financially to this Atlas project, please visit our website to make a donation. There's a number of ways you can support Atlas, none of which involve money. Visit our website, atlas.org.au, and subscribe to our email newsletter. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Atlas East Timor. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Atlas East Timor. Thank you for your continued support.
Hey.